Have you ever walked away from a toxic situation only to later realize that God was protecting you all along? What if the signs of God's protection are all around you and you just didn't see them? Let's dive into 5 powerful signs that show God is covering your life. In today's video, we'll explore 5 signs that reveal how God's protection surrounds women, keeping them safe from evil people. From unseen traps to inner peace, these signs show how God covers you when you may not even know it. We'll examine these signs through scripture and real-life wisdom, reflecting on how God's divine protection manifests in everyday situations, offering us strength and discernment. Get ready to understand the unseen ways God shields you. 1. First sign: she escapes danger without knowing it. Have you ever walked away from a situation only to later realize how close you were to harm? The first sign that a woman is protected by God is that she escapes danger without even knowing it. Sometimes God's protection is invisible, and we don't realize how close we came to a spiritual or physical danger. In Psalm 91:3, it says, "Surely he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence." This is not just a comforting verse. It's a promise that God's hand is constantly working on our behalf, even when we're unaware of the danger around us. Consider the times when a friendship faded unexpectedly or a relationship ended abruptly. Maybe at the time it felt like rejection or disappointment. But what if God was redirecting you? What if the doors that slammed shut were actually His way of protecting you from the traps you couldn't see? Take the story of Joseph in Genesis. He was thrown into a pit by his brothers, but God's protection was there, even in the moments of seeming rejection and betrayal. He didn't know the full extent of God's plan, but God used every setback to position him for something greater. This is how divine protection works. And sometimes we walk right past traps, spiritual, emotional, or even physical, without realizing it. Those closed doors, lost connections, and failed opportunities are often God's way of keeping us safe from what could have destroyed us. So, the next time something feels like it's falling apart, remember, it might just be God's hand guiding you away from something dangerous. Give thanks for the closed doors and the paths that seem to go nowhere, because in those moments, you were being protected by God's unseen hand. 2. Second sign: her discernment grows sharper in quiet seasons. Have you ever noticed how your instincts become stronger in moments of stillness and solitude? The second sign of a woman protected by God is that her discernment grows sharper during quiet seasons. It's in the quiet that God sharpens her ability to perceive what's true and what's false. In Hebrews 5:14 it says, "But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil." Discernment isn't something that's just handed to us. It's something that's developed, honed through experiences, and most importantly, through moments of solitude and quiet reflection. Just like Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray, those quiet seasons in our own lives can be moments where God is preparing us for what's ahead. During times of isolation, or when the world around us seems silent, God is not absent. Instead, He is sharpening our spiritual senses, teaching us to distinguish between true wisdom and the deceitful whispers of the enemy. Many times we find ourselves in these quieter moments, and they may feel uncomfortable or confusing. It's in these moments when we might be removed from social circles or face unexpected loneliness that God is actually giving us an opportunity to grow in discernment. We begin to recognize the red flags in relationships, the manipulative tactics in situations, or the subtle deceptions that would have once gone unnoticed. God uses these quiet, still moments to sharpen our spiritual radar. You may notice that in times of silence, you become more sensitive to the Holy Spirit's promptings. That's not coincidence. God is teaching you to hear His voice more clearly. In fact, many women who are protected by God find that their discernment becomes much sharper when they embrace silence, prayer, and reflection. So, if you find yourself in a quiet season, embrace it. Know that God is refining your spiritual vision and helping you discern what's truly for you and what is not. You're not abandoned or forgotten. You're being prepared for the next step, with clearer sight and a sharper spirit. 3. Third sign. Evil can't stick to her, even when it tries. The third sign of a woman protected by God is that evil just can't stick to her, even when it tries. Have you ever noticed how, no matter how hard others try to tarnish your reputation or bring you down, you just keep standing? This is a powerful sign of divine protection. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper." This isn't just a poetic line, this is prophecy. No matter how many lies are told, how many traps are set, or how many false accusations are thrown your way, God's protection ensures that they won't stick. His divine favor covers you, creating a barrier between you and the attacks of the enemy. Think about Joseph in the Bible. His brothers sold him into slavery, and he was wrongfully imprisoned. Yet he rose to power in Egypt. No matter how many lies were told about him, or how many attempts were made to destroy him, God's hand was upon him, and nothing could break him. This is what divine protection looks like. It's not that evil won't form, but that it simply won't prosper. A woman protected by God walks through challenges, slander, jealousy, and manipulation, but she is untouched. It's not because she's perfect, but because God has made her unshakable. It's like oil and water. No matter how much the enemy stirs, she won't blend with evil. The attacks may still come, but they don't define her. The whispers and the gossip may rise, but they won't break her spirit. The traps may be set, but they won't catch her. God's divine immunity surrounds her, turning every attempt against her into a stepping stone to her greater purpose. So when the enemy throws his darts, don't be discouraged. Trust in God's promise that no weapon formed against you will prosper. You are protected, and no matter what others try to do, your purpose and your peace will always prevail. 4. Fourth sign. Her peace remains even in chaotic environments. The fourth sign of a woman protected by God is peace that remains even in the most chaotic environments. It's easy to find peace when everything is calm. But the true test of divine protection comes when storms are raging around you, yet you remain unshaken. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." This peace isn't a superficial calm. It's a deep, unwavering stillness in the soul, rooted in the presence of God. It's the kind of peace that doesn't make sense to the world. While others are panicking, gossiping, or losing control, you remain grounded because you know that your trust is not in your circumstances, but in your Creator. Think of Jesus in the storm. In Mark chapter 4:37-39, while the disciples were panicking during the storm, Jesus was asleep in the boat. When they woke him up, he calmed the storm with a simple command: "Peace, be still." The storm didn't faze him, and when his peace filled the atmosphere, the chaos ceased. That's the kind of peace God offers to those he protects. It's not the absence of storms, but the assurance that even in them, God's peace reigns. When a woman is covered by God, she can walk through work stress, family tension, or personal trials without losing her inner calm. It's not because she's unaffected by the external chaos. It's because she carries the peace of God with her. Her peace becomes a weapon in the spiritual realm. It disrupts anxiety and silences foolishness. This divine peace can change atmospheres. You walk into rooms where others are tense, and suddenly the air feels lighter. Your peace pushes back on the anxiety of others. You don't allow chaos to define your mood. You've learned to stay still and trust God's plan, no matter the storm. So, if you find yourself in a challenging environment, remember this: peace doesn't come from the world. It's a gift from God. When you walk with Him, you carry a peace that passes understanding. Keep trusting, keep believing, because your peace is your protection. 5. Fifth sign. God elevates her in front of those who tried to harm her. The fifth and final sign that a woman is protected by God is when He elevates her in front of those who tried to harm her. This is a powerful and visible form of divine protection, where God doesn't just shield you from harm, He also demonstrates His protection publicly, showing the world that He has been with you all along. Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Imagine that, a feast, a place of honor prepared for you, right in front of those who once sought to harm you. It's not just about surviving the attacks or difficulties. It's about thriving in the same environment where others doubted you, gossiped about you, or tried to discredit you. This is the kind of protection that goes beyond the quiet, unseen safety we experience in God. It's the protection that causes others to look at your life and realize that God's hand is on you. God doesn't just protect you in secret. Sometimes He wants to show others that His favor is on your life. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. But despite all the setbacks, God elevated him to a position of power in Egypt. The very people who sought to harm him had to witness his rise, and God used that to show His faithfulness and His power. God does this for you, too. He allows your elevation to be a public testimony of His protection. Whether it's a promotion at work, success in a personal project, or just an overall sense of peace and contentment despite the chaos around you, God will cause those who doubted you to see that His hand is upon your life. This kind of elevation isn't about revenge or proving a point. It's about showing that God's protection leads to divine promotion. He prepares a place for you in front of your enemies, not for them to gloat, but for them to witness His glory in your life. It's His way of showing them that no weapon formed against you can prosper. So, if you're in a season where it feels like everyone has counted you out or misunderstood your journey, know this: God is setting the stage for your elevation. He's preparing your table in front of those who once tried to harm you, and in the end, His glory will shine through you in ways you never imagined. Conclusion. As we've seen throughout these 5 powerful signs, God's protection is not always what we expect, but it is always present. From the unseen dangers He shields us from to the peace He preserves in our hearts amid chaos, God's covering is a constant in the lives of women who trust in Him. He works in ways that may not be visible to us in the moment, but His hand is at work, guiding, guarding, and elevating us, often in ways we couldn't have imagined. Protection isn't always about escaping every challenge, but about the strength and wisdom God imparts to us through the trials. Just like He elevated Joseph in front of those who tried to harm him, God will also elevate you at the right time, in His perfect plan. Trust that every setback, every closed door, every unanswered prayer is part of His divine protection to ultimately bring you into the purpose He has designed for you. So when you reflect on your own life, take a moment to see the ways God has protected you, even in the smallest unseen moments. Celebrate the quiet seasons of growth, the discernment He's given you, and the moments of peace He's provided in the chaos. Because no matter what, you are protected. If you've experienced God's protection in your own life, or if you're recognizing His protection in ways you hadn't before, I'd love for you to share your story in the comments. Let's celebrate His faithfulness together. If you found this message helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who may need a reminder that God is watching over them. Stay strong, stay covered, and keep trusting in the One who never lets you go. How have you seen God protect you in your life, whether it was from visible or unseen dangers? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Let's support each other as we recognize the incredible ways God covers us every day.